الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد: كل نفس ذائقة الموت. وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم: أكثر من ذكر هذه اللذات يعني الموت. Dear brothers, sisters, mothers, elders, all praises are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we send our most choicest salutations upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the ability to live meaningful lives, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the ability to live in a meaningful manner as well. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. So this is part 2 of the Janazah workshop. The first part was mainly theory-based. Alhamdulillah, today we have our expert elder with us, Al-Hajj Abu Nidal, Hafidhahullah ta'ala wa ra'ah, to help us demonstrate how we will physically deal with a person who passes away. As you see, Brother Abdullah here on the table. It's not a real person. Then after that, what we need to do in respect to washing the body. I'm just going to go through the few steps that you'll keep in mind while Uncle Abu Nidal is demonstrating, so you can fit the written portions and the actual physical portions bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So just a quick recap. Embracing death. That how do you treat the deceased person once that death occurs? So once the soul departs, try your best to avoid wailing and shouting. This is not befitting in front of the mayyit, in front of the dead person to do. It is against adab, and according to some narrations, this causes ill will and punishment to occur as well. So a person should just embrace qadr, that this happened. Crying is okay, being sad is fine, but wailing and hitting yourself and bringing about ripping of clothing, these things are not fine at all. Then the first thing that you should be vigilant to do is you close the eyes of the deceased. Make sure that in that moment of sadness, you're not letting your emotions take over you to such an extent where you're leaving the deceased person to be intact as they are. Because even medically we know that the body stiffens, and this is a natural process of life. Once the body stiffens, then it's very difficult to close the different portions of the body. You need different injections, lubricants, etc. So the first thing that you should do, as Ammu Abu Nidal will demonstrate as well, once the person passes away, you will close the eyes of the deceased. And then, many a times in such cases, the jaw opens up during death. So you'll bind the jaw, you'll take a shawl or a tie of some sort, and you'll tie it on the head to ensure that the mouth, the bottom of the mouth and the top of the mouth remain intact with each other, connected. And it's not opening up to show a very non-suitable sign. That's number 2. And then, of course, you'll fasten the feet together. I've elaborated upon the theory of this, so I'm not going to get into the details. We'll show how to do this practically. And then you place the arms on the side with straightened fingers. Because once the fingers are bended and crooked, and you let that body just lay there, and you don't take care of it, then what ends up happening is that Allah created us with such weakness, that even this weakness is displayed at the time of death, post-death, that at times you're unable to bend the fingers anymore. They stiffen. That is why a person should maintain that presentation of the body to the best of their ability from the moment death takes place. So you place the arms on the side with straightened fingers, and as much as possible you do this naturally to avoid embalming. Now, of course, we need to embrace, part of embracing death is embracing the privacy of the deceased person as well. And this should be observed. If you see anything negative occurring at the time of death, so for example, they said a kalima of kufr, that should not be told to other persons. Because, for example, they said a word of disbelief, that might be through certain anguish, or it might be through an element of fainting, or it might be through without their knowledge. Allah knows the reality. And hence, anything negative that you see should not be said or told to anybody at all. Positives about the deceased should only be mentioned. And anybody who causes discomfort at that occasion should leave. They should be ushered out politely. So for example, if the son or the daughter of a particular mother who's passed away, their emotions overtake them and they start hitting themselves and they go into that trance, they should be ushered out to maintain that environment of sanctity for the individuals that are there. And then of course the family should be given brief time with the deceased before being sent off for preparations. And then we have the funeral ASAP. Alright. So now we're just going to go quickly into the theory of Ghuslul Mayyit or Ghuslul Mayyit. Ghuslul Mayyit would refer to the ghusl given to the Mayyit. Ghusl with a dhamma on the ghain, with a pesh on the ghain. It would refer to the bath, the ritual bath that is given to the Mayyit. And Ghuslul Mayyit with a fatha refers to a washing. Right? When ghain has a fatha on it, it means you're washing something. So both of them are fine to say either Ghuslul Mayyit or Ghuslul Mayyit, may be giving that ritual bath or that bathing to the deceased, or it may be washing the deceased. You can use either or term. Now this is a very important ritual in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us birth through purity, and we ensure that we try as much as possible when a person passes away to say farewell to them in such a state where they are physically pure. Now it is, it is an obligation, a fard kifaya. Now you need to understand the severity of that. What does fard kifaya mean? I gave you the example last time when we were doing the Janazah workshop, and I asked for I requested Brother Abdul Karim and Uncle Abu Nidal to be here for the Janazah workshop, but they were out of town because we were going to do the physical demonstration on that day itself. But none of them were in town. And these two are the usual people, along with other elders of the community, who engage in washing the body. Now imagine both of these brothers are out of town and somebody passes away. And it's an emergency death that needs attending to right away. Who here is ready to wash and lead the washing of a mayyit on their own? None of us. Right? And this is why we need to understand the veracity of what fard kifaya means. That it is such an obligation that anybody from the community is available and ready to perform this task if perhaps the individuals who take charge of this matter are not there. So washing the body of the deceased person is considered to be an obligation, a fard kifaya, right? Upon the Muslim community. It is a sacred duty. It is a ritual that the Prophet ﷺ taught to us, and it must be performed with the utmost care and respect. So these are some adab that we're going to follow in order to wash the deceased person. We can go through these adab, these etiquettes before the physical demonstration. So it's mustahab, it's not fard, that before you wash the body of the deceased person, that you yourself are in a pure state, either in a state of wudu or either in a state of ghusl, right? It is mustahab to make ghusl, mustahab meaning rewarding, to be engaged in a state of ghusl, where you've taken a sunnah ghusl, before even going to wash the mayyit. Many a times some people think it's only after washing, but it's mustahab even before going to wash the deceased person to take a ghusl, or at the least be in the state of wudu. Step number 2, you prepare the body. And Abu Nidal will show you how to do that. The deceased person's body should be placed on a clean, flat surface, such as a table or a mat. And then the body should be covered with a sheet or a cloth to maintain modesty. I was actually very surprised. And forgive me for being surprised. When people told me that, I feel shy when I pass away, that people are going to wash me because they will see my private areas. Well, who told you the private areas are even seen? The private areas are not even supposed to be seen once during the washing. We don't give the ghusl to the mayyit in a state where the mayyit is bare naked or has no clothes on. The awrah is always covered. In fact, it is a sin until and unless necessity demands it to show the awrah. There's the cover that you see from belly button to knee, that's always there. May it be before the ghusl or after the ghusl. So this is why Islam has emphasized modesty throughout a person's life, and even at the time of death, it is haram for you to look at somebody's private area. Number 3, you remove impurities. As Abu Nidal will demonstrate that if there are any impurities on the body, first and foremost. Now, for example, the body is laying there with the cloth that is covering the awrah. If you see blood on the exterior body, for example, by the shoulder, this person got into an accident and passed away perhaps, then you clean all that najasa up before you go about to clean the excretion area. Sometimes people come directly placed on these tables from the hospital, and they have they have pipes and different things in their body. You need to make sure that you can take it out easily. And if you can't take it out, that is why you need guidance. If you can't take it out, and it's so severe, sometimes people come through, after accidents. I remember about 7 years ago, I was in Moline, Illinois, leading Taraweeh. And prior to the month of Ramadan, one of their youth, they got into such a bad motorcycle accident that Sheikh Sa'ad made dua for this young man throughout the month of Ramadan. Every Fajr, every Isha, every Maghrib, every Salah that he was there, because of how horrendous of an image that they saw. The entire community couldn't forget it. And he made dua the entire month. So this person, the accident was so bad that his guts and intestines were even popping out. And like that, they had to give him ghusl. What do you do in that situation? That is why you need that khabir. You need that person who's knowledgeable, about these matters. And I mentioned at this juncture that after washing the second last body that we washed together with Abu Nidal, he became emotional. And he said, who's going to take care of this matter after I leave? He was not saying that I fear death. He was saying, who's going to take care of this matter after I leave? And he became emotional. Right? So in that situation, you try as much as possible to wash the physical body, leave the areas that might cause even further harm to wash, and you go about covering those areas and performing the rest of the ghusl as Abu Nidal will teach you. And then after you remove any physical impurities, you rub the stomach gently. Once you rub the stomach gently, after the person has passed away, the areas are, for a period of time, in the inner areas are loose on its own. So when you rub the stomach gently, if there's any possible impurity in the stomach area or the bladder, it will come out. And what you do thereafter is you take a clean towel, a wet towel, or a wet cloth of some sort, and you just wipe away those impurities, once again, from under that towel or under that cloth that is put onto that person. You take that cloth, you wipe the back area and the front area, and then you throw it away, without, once again, looking at the awrah. Step 4, the first wash. Oh, sorry, we forgot one thing. After you clean the body, then you perform a very brief wudu for the mayyit. For the deceased person, you perform a very brief wudu. Nothing elaborate. You don't pour, you don't put the hose in the mouth. Sometimes in emotions we made those mistakes. You take a cloth and you gently just rub it in the mouth to assume that this is the madmada, the gargling. And you do the same thing with the nose. And then the rest of the wudu is the same. And then the step 4 is the first wash. So the first ghusl, depending, there's no hard and fast rule, but this is the preference of the ulama that I've studied from. The first wash should be performed with plain water. so you get some substance of wetness in each and every area. So the body should be washed thoroughly, starting from the right side and then followed by the left side. And the person washing the body should ensure that the water reaches every part of the body, including the mouth, the nose, and the ears, the tight spots, where many times we forget about it. Another place that many people forget is the underarms, the bubbles. They forget about it. So a person should, just as they are vigilant of taking a good ghusl, after janabah, or after, they become impure and they want to clean themselves, or for the women after menses, after the menstruation, you make sure that you take a very thorough ghusl. In that likely manner, you need to give a thorough ghusl to the mayyit. So you begin pouring the water over the body from head down to the feet, right? And the body can be washed 3 times in this manner. It could be 3 at a preferable level, but if there's a need to additionally wash, then make sure you use an odd amount. So for example, 3, 5, 7, 9. But generally the body is clean after 3 washes. And make sure the water reaches every crevice of the body. Many times people forget in between the private areas as well. This is a crevice that you need to take care of. That all the body parts are thoroughly cleaned and wet. Step number 5, you perform the second wash. Inshallah, Abu Nidal will show you the kafur in person. So kafur is something that was used for the Prophet ﷺ's ghusl, and he used it for the ghusl of other people as well. It's a very herbal, scented element, and once it dries up and once it's produced, it looks like these clots. And then at the time of ghusl, we squish it up, right? And then we put it in the water and we mix it. So this is the second wash. Sometimes people prefer to do this in the first wash, there's no problem. Sometimes people prefer this to do in the second wash. Use kafur. Then you'll take that powder and you'll mix it in the water. Another thing that was used for the Prophet ﷺ's ghusl was sidr. It was a type of leaf with an aroma. We use it for cooking, things like biryani and kabsa, they use these leaves sometimes. But in the ghusl, it's also used to give the water some sort of a pure, sedis, flowing element. So they mix these elements in the water, and then in that same manner, starting from the right, then the left, head all the way below the toes, below the feet, the second ghusl will be given to the person. And of course, many a times, people in a fit of emotion, they forget the back as well. So when I say right and left, I mean the right and left from both sides. Right and left from the front and the back. So after you finish washing the front, you will turn the body and wash it from the back as well. Step number 6, you perform the third wash, and then the third wash once again is to be performed with plain water to wash away any physical elements of the sidr and the kafur. Many a time some powder sticks around. So you wash the body. So somebody might ask, what if you don't have sidr and kafur? You can use any element which is pure and gives a good scent, such as soap or body wash. There's no issues. In fact, we use both. We use sidr, we use kafur, and we use soap as well for the first washing. Important note, the body could be washed any odd number of times. Usually 3 washes should suffice. And step number 7, you dry the body. Now once the washing is complete, the body should be dried with a clean towel or cloth, not the same towel that is on the person. Not only that, the towel that is on the person is also removed. The towel basically which was covering their awrah is also removed, and a new clean towel is put on them prior to the kafan being wrapped around them. Now, it's very, very important that immense care should be taken while a person is rubbing the water dry from the body, because we believe in the sanctity of the mayyit just as we believe in the sanctity of the living. Just as we feel pain, even the mayyit feels pain. And this is something that many people don't know. I recommended the book to you last time, Sheikh Ashiq Ilahi al-Bulanshahri. He has a thick book on the concepts of death. He was a great muhaddith of his time. And he mentions that the Prophet ﷺ actually said, don't even break the bone or move fast with the mayyit, with the dead person, because they feel exactly what you feel, but the only difference is they can't respond, right? So it's very important that you gently use that towel, especially if it's an emergency situation. You don't even think about pressuring the body at all. And finally, step number 8 is what we will show you in practice. You dress the body. So of course, this is after the body has been dried, otherwise the kafan will stick to every place. To give you an example, when you take a shower and you're rushing, you're late for work, and you try to put that shirt on, it takes forever to put the shirt on, right? Because your body's still wet. So in that likely manner, if the body of the deceased is still wet, then that kafan will be sliding, slithering, and it will not fit the person's body easily, and hence a person should make sure that the body is dried all around. Men should be dressed in 3 white sheets, while women should be dressed in clothing that covers the entire body, which amounts to about 5 pieces of cloth. And this is to ensure complete modesty for our sisters. And so the portions which are very private on their body are not exposed. 3 sheets at times are not enough for our sisters, and hence the Prophet ﷺ recommended about 5 sheets of cloth for them. Okay, this is something that we've already covered. And that is it. Inshallah, we will do the practical demonstration. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. We'll move this table around. Can we get some help to move this table around? And we will turn the light on. Bi'idhnillah. One thing that I forgot to mention is if the clothes are unable to be taken out in such a state where you won't be able to take out the clothes without exposing the awrah, then they will just be cut with the scissors. Does that make sense? Did everybody listen to that? Right. Alright, so inshallah we'll give the mic to Abu Nidal and I'll physically help him.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah.
You want to put it more?
Amu? No.
Can we move it more forward so the sisters can see?
Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala rasulillah. You know, I am a maintenance guy, I do work and all that stuff. I have hammers and all that stuff. I just want to take see what he's did. So I bring my hammer, say what I see. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Now as the Sheikh, he mentioned, death is imminent. Everybody must die. You have to make sure of that, or think of that, and remember death as the Imam mentioned that, okay? So we all have to go, whether we like it or not. We are born, every night we go to sleep, and we are in a state of death sometimes, the sleepness, and we wake up and we thank Allah that we are awake. But we're going to demonstrate how, to wash the deceased person. As the Sheikh mentioned, you have to treat the deceased person as he's alive. Privacy is very important. Privacy is very important. And it's preferable that the family, they wash the deceased one, But if they cannot, then somebody in the community, inshallah, he will do that. And again, we need to take all the clothes off the body. Scissor, if we have to cut it, and I don't know, in this case, what are we going to do?
In this case, we'll just pull it.
We just pull it, okay?
But show them what happens when he first dies, like right when he dies.
What do you mean?
Like how to close the eyes.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Well, this one,
His eyes don't close, they stay open.
he's not dead. I really like to demonstrate on a real person.
How do you tie the feet? Can you show?
The way you tie the feet is you'll put them together, and then you'll take a cloth of some sort. We don't have a cloth
Well,
right
we're
now.
not gonna do it now. I mean, we do it later. Sure.
Okay, thank
Sure,
you.
sure, sure, sure. Oh, you can. Let me my gloves on too. Let's see.
Yes. Privacy of much. I want everybody to think that this is one day going to be me, you know, and may Allah protect us. That Allah grants us a death of āfiyah, just as Allah granted a life of āfiyah. We ask Allah for forgiveness.
How are you gonna keep it?
I think we just pull it from here. No, here.
But take the hands off. Okay. All right. Let's take the hands off. Okay.
Don't try this at home.
We had the mortuary home where they have something taken.
Yeah.
But, okay, this is Abdullah, okay? Okay, now, first of all, we have to rub on the stomach here. If you have something in the stomach, you know, of course you open the legs, you know, and you rub on the stomach. The body, sometimes he is flexible, you know, but if he is not flexible, you lay him like that. But if he's flexible, you set him like 90 degrees, you know, up there. And then you rub on the stomach, you know, make sure there's, if there's anything in there that is gone, okay? Now, the second thing is we're gonna wash the body. First of all, we have to wash the private part. You put a rag on your hand, wash your gloves, okay? And then you use soap, water. Where's the water, Chef?
So we're going to demonstrate without water.
Okay. With you wrap a rag around your hand, you know, and with your left hand, you know, you just reach in here, you know, and just somebody will put the water, you know, and just wash. And of course, you know, you're gonna open the legs, you know, and just make sure, you know, all the water goes in there, and the soap and all that stuff, and clean up good. If there's anything, you know, here, it will go down in the drain and, you know, be clean, you know. So we already did that, so don't worry about it.
No, but just to show them,
Okay.
we'll do it from
Yeah,
up top
yeah.
here, right?
And in the funeral home, they have hose also. And the water, make sure the water is suitable, not too hot, not too cold, okay? So you don't wanna put some ice cold water on somebody, you know, wake him up, okay?
Yeah.
Kareem? Now we're gonna give him wudu. Wudu just like you make wudu yourself, you know. First, after you wash the private, okay, and then you will start with the right hand, you know, wash the hand between the fingers, all of that, up to here, the first, the right hand, then the second hand, you know, same thing, wash it good, you know, water gets in between, like this, okay, and then you take water again, the mouth, if it's open, you know, just don't put the water in the mouth, you know. You usually take a rag, and you can just wipe the mouth 3 times, you know. And then the same thing with the nose, also too. The face, just put water. Chef, put water on the face, and wash the face, and just like, you know, all this here. Make sure if you have a thick beard, put the water in the beard 3 times, okay? Now you go to the right hand, wash it all the way up to the elbow. And if you make it longer, that's fine. As you know how the what is the benefit of the wudu, or the reward of the wudu, you know, that the Qur'an, you know, in the day of judgment, you know, they become shining, you know, that. So when you make wudu, you yourself, you make it as far as you can, you know, and this will become shining in the day of judgment, you know. So this is very important. And also the sins will go down, you know, when you make wudu. This is, we're talking about, when we don't want to mix up the dead with the live, but just to remind you. Okay, then you go with the left one, same thing, you know, wash the left hand, again, just the private has to be all 3 times, okay? And then now you just take the same thing, you know, just wipe the head, back and forth, so, and then you wash the feet also too, it's the same thing. The right foot, the same thing, between the feet, the fingers I should say, the toes and all of these, all the way up to here, ankle, same thing, the left one, you know, and that's, we are done with the wudu. So I hope we did it right, did we?
Yes, of course.
Inshallah. Sometimes we give it that, you know. Now, we're gonna wash the body. First, get the water in the bucket.
The first wash.
First wash, you know, yeah, and then the Sheikh mentioned also you can use soap, you can use shampoo, you know, whatever, you know, just like you want to take your shower yourself, really, you know, you're not, don't be afraid of that. He's not gonna do anything, the dead one. Whatever you treat yourself just like you treat him. You treat him like you treat yourself. And you just put the water, you know, I mean the soap and all of that stuff. Water, Sheikh.
Oh,
We need water, we need to wash soap, the body, you know, all of it.
that's another thing. You need to be in
Yeah.
sync with the person.
You know, all of it.
Otherwise, you get lost.
Yeah. And then also, okay, the left side also too. Then you flip the body the right side.
Somebody
first.
hold his head.
Just, yeah.
Oh, that's the right side.
Just you wash the back, you know.
Water.
Yeah, water and soap and all that stuff, you wash all of that back there. Somebody need to help you, okay? And,
Sometimes people are heavier, so you need more people.
yeah, the left hand side, same thing, you know, one good. Okay,
And then you just pour the water from here, or you take the pipe
yeah.
and just, so you don't need to open the crevice.
Okay, now we wash them,
Oh.
the first wash, what happened there?
Yep, that's the first wash.
That's the first wash. The second wash, we need to
Sit
give the kafur.
where-
Where's the kafur? It's in the thing. Kafur, you can buy it in a liquid also too. I think they sell it in the liquid. This is the kafur that comes in.
And this is just a block of itul for the kafan.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to open it and let somebody smell it. You know, there's cubes. Those are cubes. You know, you need to break them up.
So those
And
are
then-
available in store.
In English, in English they call it camphor.
Camphor or camphonique or something like that. No.
It's natural, right?
Yeah.
So, can I say something?
Yeah.
No, I'll just say it. So, sometimes when I go home, I tell my wife that I still taste death. Because of this, when it's emanating in that area, you actually, the smell goes everywhere, and you taste it almost for an entire day. So this
Yeah,
is
just
the kafur.
let me smell it. Yeah.
Smell it and pass it.
Okay, after we break that kafur, pound it good, you know, and we dissolve it in
Yeah.
water.
You pound it to a powder, right?
Yeah. And then you put it in the water. Same thing, water is not too cold, not too hot. Okay? And then you're gonna rinse the body, you know, same thing, you rinse it from the right side, you know, all the way up here, you know, private was two, all the way. The left side, same thing, you know. And then again the back also too. This might get wet, you know. We'll talk about it later. And you do the left side, same thing, you know. And just water, all that rinse. you know, all of that, okay? Now we're in sit, okay. Again, what you call it, the sidr, we use sidr, that's for our Sheikh Hassan Din.
Yeah.
Allah have
Allah yarham.
mercy on him, you know, blessing, yeah. Anyway, okay, the sidr is, what's it called in English?
Sidr is
the
bay leaves?
the bay leaves.
Bay leaves.
Those bay leaves, you know. You have the same thing, you burn them in the water, let them soak, you know, all of that. And then you rinse the body, do the same thing we did with the kafur, okay? And that should be enough, okay? We did 3 times. As mentioned, Sheikh mentioned, you can do 5 times, 7 times, 9 times. But 3 times, inshallah, should be enough. Now, we clean the body 3 times and all that stuff. Now we need to dry. We gotta dry the body. You have to dry it good. Very good, okay? All of that, back and forth, like this and forth. And this will be wet, this. You take another one, dry.
Yeah.
Another one dry, okay. After you clean all the body, the table, make sure it's very dry and all of that stuff, you're set to,
Tell them even when you bring the dry one, you just put it
yeah, yeah.
over
put
and
the-
you take this
you-
one off
you
so
put it, yeah.
nobody can see
Yeah.
the aura.
Yeah, you just pull it and you put the, okay. And now the body is clean, ready to be shrouded. Now the shroud consists of 3 for the man, 5 for the woman. And think about it, the woman, they take more than the men when they die. Can you imagine that? Now, Islam is very justice to women. Who said Islam is not justice to women? So we give them more when they're dead than they're alive. Okay, now the second table here that we have the kafan, we're going to let's put the table this way. Yeah. Let's put the table here. Let's put that. Okay. Okay. Yeah, let's put first of all, let's put these ties that we're gonna tie the body, you know, usually 3 or 4 or 5, you know, whatever. Yeah. One on the feet, one in the middle, one on the top, you know. Now, here is the. Now, next time when we run out of these shrouds, we're gonna change the way we do it. We're gonna the three pieces, you know,
Make them the same
make
size.
it the same size. But these are 3 pieces. Where's the third?
This is,
Oh, you got it? Wait, check. But the long one. Where's the one?
this is the qamis.
No, I want the one, the longest one, which is this one here. That's the one?
Yes.
So these are just the cotton sheets?
Yeah, yes.
These are
no,
non-chemical.
there's no chemical, no thread in them, okay? Just lay this on the table, like that, okay?
One.
Okay? Now, the kameez, what is the kameez? Yeah, the kameez? Okay. The kameez, as you see here, it's got a, here.
Slit.
Okay,
It has a slit.
open, yeah, it's got a, for the head, open it.
Okay.
Open. Put it halfway like that, okay? Like that. Okay, now the wizard, which is,
This is describe it.
this is like that. Okay, we fold it in twice.
Yeah.
Okay, and we just put it right here. Put it in this.
So basically, this becomes the shirt, that becomes the pants.
Yeah.
But untied, you know, or like not knitted,
Lungi.
like a lungi, like a loincloth.
Yeah. But next time, when we run out of these, we're gonna make all of 3 pieces, like the first one, the longest one.
Yeah.
So we'll just wrap the body, the first
Easily.
one, the second one, the third one. Okay, but we will, inshallah, we will bring the body here.
So
So you cut this yourself,
Yeah,
or
we
you
cut it,
they come
yeah,
like
yeah,
this?
no, we cut it, we cut it. I buy the big roll and I cut it. It's cheaper that way. Okay.
In actuality, you need more than 2 people.
Yeah, oh yeah. Okay. There we go.
And then,
Again. Now, the first one you put the wizard.
how about this? You don't take it?
No, we take it off. Put the wizard. Bring the wizard right like this, okay? Bring that to one side here.
What about the tying of the feet or tying of the jaw again, pre-tying all of
Yeah,
that?
we can, yeah.
Yeah, so he said
That's
assume
good.
that's done already.
Okay. Let's put the,
But
put
you
it.
not take it off all
No,
at
you
once,
take those off. At the time of ghusl, you take those ties off.
but then you put it back on?
No, you don't. Because then the body stiffens and it doesn't. Then you take this cloth
See,
off.
the sheikh might give you an idea when somebody's dying, what to do, you know.
Yeah,
So you need to tell them about what to do if somebody's dying, you know.
yeah, we went over that. It's just mainly the eyes, the feet, and the hands,
Mm-hmm.
and the mouth.
Okay. Now here's the wizard, okay? Now the kameez. Bring the kameez like that. Bring the head through, like this. And usually the hands, you know, you can leave them on the side, or you can put the right one on top of the left one, you know,
Put the token
like this.
underneath.
But this one
No,
is...
'cause you need to cover it
Anyway, okay. Stay
Yeah,
with it.
so
Yeah,
you can put the hands on the side or
Yeah.
the chest,
yeah,
like salah.
okay. Just like that. Bring that one like that, okay. Now the last one is the one that we were talking about, the shrouded. Like that. There you go, there you go. Wait,
And then
yeah.
we leave this
You
part.
go like that, you know, fold it like this.
Yeah.
Here.
We leave this one a little bit loose so the family, right?
Yeah,
The family
usually-
can have a viewing.
Yeah.
So we don't tie this up.
Sometimes we tie this up too, if it's strong enough. This guy, this
This
guy.
guy's strong.
Anyway, then you tie these. You know, tie them like this. So when you take them to the grave, you loosen these up. So because the body will start, you know.
Stiffening.
No, it will start exploding, you know.
Oh.
You know, so this way.
Decomposition.
The compass, yeah, there you go.
So you put the tie on the neck.
No,
No.
usually not here.
Over here.
When
You made a mistake.
His head keeps coming off, so I just wanted to make sure it's in place.
So
Yeah,
it is
but
it is to the
I know we're
chest.
sort of laughing, but this is
Yeah,
a very
yeah.
serious
It's,
matter.
you know, really, again, last time, you know, it was
It was
emotional,
tough.
very emotional,
It was
yeah.
tough.
Even I'm getting emotional right now.
Subhanallah.
And then by Illinois law, they need to use a box. The Islamic burial, there's no box for it. For example,
The green barrier, yeah.
the green burial in your countries, the body goes into the qabr with the kafan, but over here it's mandated. So we utilize a box which decomposes at contact.
Yeah, if you've seen it, the box is made out of cement, and in the bottom of it there's holes, or I should say gaps, like this, what, 4 or 5 holes, okay? Because you need the water, or when it comes up from down there, it just comes to the body and dissolve. The body will dissolve and go down in the dirt, you know. But again, I hope in the future that we will do the green burial here. We are working on it. And also we're working, inshallah, we try to have our own washing facility, you know. It's real, I mean, very good, but we need somebody that he have to go to college, he have to
Certified.
be certified, you know. It's a big business in this country, or political even, as a matter of fact, you know. Really, believe me. So if in Rockford, Illinois, I don't know if anybody remember Brother Khalid Siddiqui? He used to be here a long time ago, and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
moved to Rockford. Now they have their own facility. They wash the body and all of that stuff, and much cheaper, because, you don't need to spend that much money on people here, this country, if they don't have insurance or they don't have anybody to support them and all that stuff, the government have to step in and, it's a shame, we had some brothers, they died in the community and they had to bring them, they were from other places, they don't have enough money,
Yeah.
some you remember, we don't want to mention that, but,
So what do you do at the ends?
This gets not after the.
what, at the end, what do you mean,
Tying the ends.
this one?
So we have only 3 ties, right?
Yeah, we can do 5.
So
We
we
can
can
do
you-
3, 5.
No problem. Okay.
No. But again,
This is not it.
This is long enough really, type like this,
Yeah.
When you take him to the grave, of course you have to put him in the grave, face Mecca, and lay him on the right hand side, and then that's it.
So when you put the body in the grave, you untie all? I never
Yeah,
seen
we
that.
untie doors, we untie
You
doors.
just,
yeah.
Okay.
you just simply untie
Just
it
untie, yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
That's it. And you leave it there. Any questions that you'd like to ask? Khalil?
So you put the mannequin in the
Sorry?
coffin. You put the person in the coffin.
We put him in the coffin, yes. Not this one, not this, that's not the one, yeah.
Dirt.
Yeah, the real person, we take him and put him in the coffin.
Yeah. I'll take
Coffin,
you
and
next
then
time
we
to
put
the
him
graveyard.
In the ground, yeah.
Because of the law,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. منها وإليها منها خلقناكم وفيها نعيدكم ومنها نخرجكم تارة أخرى. And subhanallah, human, they should think about death all the time. You came with nothing, you go with nothing. You leave nothing behind you except people make dua for you, inshallah, and good righteous son or daughter,
Inshallah.
inshallah, yeah.
Sure, can you turn the body so that it faces the Qibla, the whole body and the face?
You don't need to overdo it. Just so this is the
Let's say this is.
yeah. Let's just say this
right?
is the qibla.
Yeah, you
Just
put it
about
like
this,
that.
and then
Yeah,
you
like
put
that.
dirt or rocks,
Rocks.
big dirt clots under it, so the body stays like that. Now, some people might ask, what if it moves after we bury it? That's not up to you. You did what was in your control.
Right.
You don't need to go about an OCD and overthink these matters. Subhanallah, I've seen situations where people, they fight, at the graveyard. That, no, it's not facing the Qibla yet. And there's so much tawheen that happens, ihana of the body, that sometimes it flips over like this. So people need to be aware and not understand these masail, understand these rulings. That it's simply just to turn towards the Kaaba or the Qibla, and what happens thereafter is not in your control.
Yeah, the best thing, just make dua for the deceased one.
That's it.
Make dua for him or her.
Sheikh, for women 5 clothes, right? We just wear 4 than 5 extra.
Yeah. So no, for the women they have the dira as well. The
The woman khimar, the woman they have the khimar, and then
The
they
scarf.
have an extra piece.
extra piece over this.
Yeah. So I don't really, my wife, she does it.
Yeah. Well, I never seen it, but we learned the masail of it. So it's almost these 3, and then there's the additional 2 is the khimar, which is the hijab to cover her hair, and then the final one over this one that we sort of did, one over that. So that's 5 pieces to give that extra covering. Fatima radiallahu anha, she demonstrated that it could even be more than that, because she said, I don't want anybody to even see the shape of my body. So she created sort of like a hawdaj, a canopy. So this was her bashfulness. And a woman could request such. There's no issues with that,
So
And
what
the only difference at the graveyard for the woman and the man is that the man, anybody could, if the family members are not available, sort of anybody could touch that individual and put them in the grave. But for the woman, it needs to be her family members. And if there's no family members, then the ulama, they go on to say that, people who are young individuals who are not baligh, strong enough, or if necessary may come to it, then the men would have to do what they have to do. And that is why it's, the structure of family in Islam is so very important, Don't be like that guy who came to Sheikh Siraj and said, I'm not going to be there for my dad's janazah. I have a meeting at 12 o'clock. Here, take the money. Wallah, this happened in Tehran. So we need to really make sure that our family is there for us, bi'idhnillah, or do our part in making, trying that happens. Do our part at least.
So you mentioned the 3 pieces, you will make them in the same size.
Be the
Yeah.
same size, yeah.
Well, why is that?
Well, it's much easier.
It's
Sometimes we have difficulty, people, pulling the shirt and the wazra, and, it's such a difficult sometimes. Some people, they're big guys,
Sure.
or you cannot,
But you will still cut to make the
But we
khamis.
got 3 pieces, just the long one, the longest one, and then we just like the last one we read, we do the same thing, one after another. Like if you imagine what do you call it, a grape leaf or a cabbage leaf,
Yeah.
that's
Layer by layer.
that's how we tie it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So much easier, much easier.
simple.
It's
And there's no
more simple.
mukhalafa.
Yeah.
There's no,
Yeah.
it's not against the sunnah.
Yeah.
And you said when it's woman, someone then the member of the family should touch the body, but the husband is part of those or not?
So there's ikhtilaf among the Imam. Imam Abu Hanifa, he says that it is haram for the husband to touch his wife.
I like Abu Hadith.
But the other Imam, they allow it.
Okay, then.
Yeah. Yes.
2 questions back to that. I read that for one of our Khalifa,
Bismillah.
Ali radiallahu anhu.
actually no, my
Abu Bakr.
Abu Bakr?
he willed that his wife
Yeah.
take care of it.
That did
So
happen.
she did. That was
Abu
one.
Bakr radiallahu
Abu
anhu.
Bakr, sorry.
And Ali did Fatima as well.
Sorry, I'm struggling here a little bit. Number 2, in Illinois, if we are in this situation, which funeral home, who are we talking to? Are they set up to accommodate us?
What do you mean by that?
In the sense that they know, once the body's brought, I don't think the body can come home. If it's one of our loved ones, for example, it's not going to come to our house. It has to go to the mortuary, I presume.
They can take it
Can we
home.
do this at home?
The person dies in
I don't know.
So
I think it has to go to the mortuary, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take him to the hospital, take him to the mortuary.
Like when-
Even if he dies at your home, then they have to take him to the
I
mortuary.
think Yasin and Yamin, when their father passed away, he spent the night in the home.
Did he?
Yeah.
But he did
From,
not-
from the home, the body went to the
But
mosque.
he did not tell that he is dead, that.
Probably. I don't know.
Probably not, yeah.
So I guess
Yeah.
they spend some time, but the washing and stuff, because of the regulations, would happen at the mortuary. Yeah,
Okay, so
Yeah.
is there a specific mortuary for Peoria?
yeah, the one in front of Masala
Knoxville, or
Cafe.
Knoxville, yeah, yeah.
That's where we go
Yeah.
usually.
And then they know to accommodate us? or-
Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah, we've been doing this for a long time with them, yeah, long time. Again, I just want to remind you, whatever you see when you're washing the body, anybody there, whatever you see bad, do not tell anybody, do not say anything.
Yes.
Whatever you see good, say it's good,
Yeah. The Prophet ﷺ says, "Ahsinu dhikra mawtakum," that mention the good about your dead. So, like you said, for example, sometimes some bad things happen. I don't want to get into the details, but you don't mention those things, right? If you saw that, it's haram for you to mention that. This is part of the awrah of a Muslim,
Yeah.
right?
It's not only that, but the deceased person, the one who watches or the one who sees, you will see, the nur, the brightness, he's a good person, or but we all sinful, but we ask Allah subhanahu to forgive us, but
Yeah.
you will see signs but do not just tell the good signs,
Yeah.
do not say anything bad.
Sister Louise?
What happens if a ring or bracelet cannot be taken out?
Usually there's pliers and stuff that,
We have scissors, we have, again, I take my tools, don't worry.
yeah, there's ways to take it out.
Yeah, there's always, we take more. But if they, like the Sheikh mentioned earlier on the presentation, if there's tubes Or there's some cuts, they have bandage on it, just leave them in there just so it doesn't have to bleed, you know.
Yeah.
So I must have, you know, just, even sometimes if there's a cut, you get some tape and put some tape. And also the nose, you know, put some, or the mouth, you know, put some
Cotton.
cotton, you know, all, yeah.
Any other questions?
Just to clarify regarding the legally, you said the location should be done, the ghusl at the
Mortuary.
mortuary area legally, right?
Legally, yes.
What about the person has to be certified, or we just go inside and?
No, the certified guy stands there the whole time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if I have certificate, you know, anybody, you know, I can let anybody use it, just like I have certified electrician or whatever, you know, people.
It's a 2-year investment
But
for
it's-
all the youth that are sitting here. A 2-year investment of your life. If you take this course, we can start doing ghusl at the masjid.
There
Do you
you go.
believe that?
There you go.
2-year investment, but nobody's ready to do it. Everyone wants to be doctors and engineers, and that's fine, but this is a fard upon the Muslims. You know, we're paying an arm and a leg at times as a Muslim community just to die in this country, right? That is because I'm telling you, our youth are not for it nowadays. You need to step up, you know, step up your game.
So besides the certificate, I think the construction part also, specific
It's
regulation
simple.
is there.
The
It's a
facility,
simple-
the facility, you know, you get,
Every masjid in Toronto has it. It's simple.
yeah, like I said, Bradford, they have that.
So try
It's
your
much
best to make
cheaper,
good
much cheaper
intentions.
for, some people don't have the money, you know, really. I mean, I know, like in Chicago, my brother, you know, he's involved in some thing like this, you know, and they start making, what do you call it, membership, you know. He wanted to be a member, and when you die, you know, then they cover up, you know, your expenses, you know.
Subhanallah.
You know, because some people, they cannot afford it to have that, yes.
Is there age requirement for the certification for the washing?
And you what?
What's the age requirement?
For
The
the
age
certification.
requirement?
There's
Oh,
no,
that's a
there's
good
no age
question.
requirement.
That's a
Just
good
2
question.
years?
Yeah,
That's a good question.
it's a 2-year course, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And then Brother Munib knows the details. I think they make you practice, you know, they physically practice. But then, subhanAllah, even if, excuse me, even if it's a sister in the community that has the certification, then we can still facilitate it as a community. She doesn't need to be there when the man is being washed.
Right.
There's no gender requirement, you know, there's no age requirement, in my understanding, and just the 2-year course. I believe our college here even offers it, in my humble understanding, not sure. But yeah, there's no age requirement, Sister Iman.
The average cost now, what, 6,500?
Yeah, 6,500 just to be washed at the mortuary. Imagine if, that's not even the burial, by the way. Imagine having this at your masjid. You know how, you know the people in Toronto, they pay for their plot and they don't even pay for the washing and the transportation, that's it. Over here, you know, imagine 6,500 just to wash the body at a non-Muslim funeral home. Right?
The mortuary, they charge like $3,800. And in the cardboard box, like $350.
Yeah.
And digging the grave, over $1,000. And the vault. You know, there's so much involved, you know. But if we go green burial and with our own washing facility and all that stuff, it'll cut down probably half or less than half.
Yeah, less than half, yeah. Any other questions?
So what's the total that we need to keep aside for ourselves?
About 10,000,
Each.
yeah. As of now. Inshallah, may Allah guide some of these young guys to do these courses, so we don't, you know, it could be fi sabilillah, bi'idhnillah.
Now be nice to one another, okay? There's nothing you take with you. So people remind you, I mean, remember you good, you know, when you die. So ask Allah forgiveness for you. So, وبهذا سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا وأخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. صلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Let's take it to the cemetery.
Inshallah, let's practice the janazah salah one time together.
Okay, yeah,
Maybe
sure.
everyone can make a line.
That's good.
The sisters, if you're able to make a line, we'll practice the salat al-janazah once, inshallah. So we know what to say, what to read.
Come on, Sheikh, yalla. Sheikh, you take the plate.
Start. All right. So, once again, we're not praying a real salat al-janazah, just practicing, so we know what to do. So for the man or the woman in the Hanafi madhab, they stand by the chest, but for the in the other ai*imah, what do they say? By the head and then the chest, right? If it's a female.
The woman in the middle.
The woman in the middle, and plus this should be this way, right?
Yeah, again, the face.
Yes, the face should be this way, but
It's fine.
it's fine. So just so I'm facing you, I'm just going to show you what to do. I'm not going to. Actually, yeah, we should. Why not? We'll just pray. Here. Let's just move it right. All right. So the first thing that you will do is in your heart you will make an intention that I am praying Salatul Janazah facing the Qibla. The Salah is for Allah. Some people make a mistake and they say that the Salah is for the Mayyit. No, that is wrong. We only pray for Allah. And the dua which is consisted in this Salah is for the Mayyit. So the Salah is for Allah and the dua which is encompassed in this Salah is for the Mayyit. Right? That is the niyyah that we should make at heart. And then the first thing we will do after that is say the takbirah.
You announce it here and the death.
Oh yes. You will announce if the person has any debt, and either the kafil or the the wali of the family or the child, they would step up and say, we will take responsibility of any of the debt that our deceased, maybe father or brother, owes. So that is, it's necessary to be paid off prior to the janazah, but usually people forgive nowadays, even if there is a debt situation, but Allah will not forgive debt, so you need to do your part in making that announcement so people can have the opportunity to either take or forgive. Right? And then after that, I'm going to say everything loudly so we can follow along and learn these du'as. So after that you will say, Allahu Akbar. Then you can either recite Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika wa tabarak ismuka wa ta'ala jadduka wa jalla thana'uka wa la ilaha ghayruk. Either this or Surah Al-Fatiha. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'een, Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim, Sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim ghayri al-maghdubi alayhim wa lad-dallin. Thereafter, you will say the second takbirah. According to Imam Abu Hanifa, you keep the hands in your place. According to other Imams, you can raise your hands and say Allahu Akbar. But there's no major issue. You can raise your hands or keep them in their place. Say Allahu Akbar with the second takbirah. And then after that, you recite the salawat Ibrahimiyya. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallayta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim. وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. You can separate either the barik and the salli ala, or you can make it one sigha, one straight sentence. And then you will say the third takbirah, Allahu Akbar, either raising your hands depending on your preference or keeping them there, Allahu Akbar. And then you will read the dua that the Prophet ﷺ taught us to recite for the mayyit. Allahumma ighfir li hayyina wa mayyitina wa shahidina wa ghaibina wa saghirina wa kabirina wa dhakarina wa unthana. Allahumma man ahyaytahu minna fa ahyihi ala al-islam wa man tawaffaytahu minna fa tawaffahu ala al-iman. And then you will say the fourth takbirah either while holding your hands or raising them. Allahu Akbar. And after this takbirah, you can either keep silent or make dua for yourself and your own family. ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب or anything. رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ وَاجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. As long or as short as you want it to be, and then you will say salam on either one side or both the sides, depending on whatever your preference is. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And this is the conclusion of the Salat al-Janazah. Very simplistic prayer, very simplistic dua, but it means a lot for the mayyit. It's a shafa'ah. The Prophet ﷺ says that when a certain amount, 40 or 100, pray Salatul Janazah for a person, these people act as intercessors on that dead person's behalf to Allah. And Allah looks at this person with a sight of forgiveness. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us all. We want to thank our uncle who's dedicated so many years of services. Jazakumullahu khairan. And may Allah make many more like you. And this is literally me saying this. May Allah make many more like you who dedicate themselves for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And may Allah grant all of us Jannat al-Firdaus without any reckoning. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah. Jazakumullahu.
Should we put the clothes back on? He's scared.
We take him to the office like this. Let's take him to the office.
Yeah.
We can put the clothes
Let's
there.
take him, yeah. Let's take him.
No.